This is the show giving you the best sales insights and ideas to become the best you can be in sales and sales leadership. My name is Gert Schultz. Welcome to Best Practice for Sales Professionals. So today I'm absolutely thrilled to speak with a guy who knows everything about motivational techniques. And that is Phil Hook from Train for Results. Phil, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Gert. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Phil, you do workshops with organizations like Toyota, you work with law firms. How do you use motivational techniques when you work with them?
Yeah, I think, as this is a sales focus, it's a bit like making a sale. In a sale, you've got to create an environment of trust. Each participant is unique. They all have individual objectives. My job is to create an energy or an emotion within the room to make that knowledge transfer easy. Now, if we take the word emotion, the scientific term for energy is the E of emotion. Motion itself is about movement. And movement is whether we pull people towards us or we push people away. So people have different perspectives and experiences coming into a training. My task is to observe the masses, do something different. Create an energy in the room where they feel comfortable to share, their thoughts and ideas and create that best practice.
So why should we even be talking about motivation as far as salespeople is concerned?
I think it's essential for sales leaders. It gives them a real insight into their people, what motivates them and also what demotivates them. Now, for individuals, it leads to behavioral change. And it can increase buy-in into terms of the objectives that we set. In the wider context of the workplace, teams become a lot more efficient. So I think, good motivation techniques is the balance between task perspective and the willingness to do the task.
And how does motivational technique help salespeople at doing their job?
Well, motivation leads to action. A lot of companies will offer incentive schemes, annual sort of ceremonies and awards, quarterly bonuses on hitting target. A lot of these are extrinsic. Now, the danger is the sales leader can rely on those. When times get tough and the lack of extrinsic rewards are around, we need to sort of focus on people's intrinsic motivators. Now, intrinsic motivators are why people go to work. What gets them out of bed in the morning? Why do they want to be successful? Now, if we tap into intrinsic motivators, it leads us to long-term performance. It encourages perseverance in tougher times too. So, this current situation, tap into intrinsic.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, particularly, in the situation we find ourselves in right now. When you work with sales leaders in your workshops, what are the typical challenges they face with regards to motivating their sales teams?
Well, I think the first one is to realize that change is constant, whether it's legislation or new products, new customers to service. If you look at the current situation, I thought Zoom was a nice lolly a few months ago. Now people are having 3 or 4 Zoom meetings a day. The thing is with things like Zoom, are we checking into our people or are we checking on our people? So the way we communicate is essential, and that clarity of message to make sure people totally understand the objectives that have been set. Now, to do that, we need to encourage two-way communication. We need to ask questions to make sure that they can reiterate, the key focuses and tasks that we're aiming for.
So do you have any top tips as a master motivator for sales leaders with regards to motivation?
Well, I've got 5 to follow. The first one is to treat your team like a portfolio of investments. It's not one size fits all. Each requires a different level of focus to achieve a maximum return. The second one is don't jump in with answers. Encourage people to find their own answers. Make them solution focused. In doing so, they become stronger and you create better bonds with your team members. The third one is recognition. And this is not for achieving the sales targets that you've set, but for contributions outside of those sales targets. Perhaps they've made an effective contribution in a team meeting, or they supported a colleague and you've got to hear about it. Those sort of things are really essential. I think the fourth one is give an element of autonomy to the team member. If they can control their activities, they become more motivated. And there's a fifth. The fifth is quite serious. Everyone is an individual. We're not all motivated by the same factors. I remember many years ago in a very wet Manchester working with a team, I had a one-to-one with a guy and we were talking about activity. And he said if he increased his activity and therefore his results, he would take his wife on holiday to the Maldives.
Very nice.
So I asked him, what is it about the Maldives that you like? And he sort of eulogized about white sand, turquoise sea, beautiful sunshine. It gave a really good picture in my mind. On the way back to the car, I passed a travel agent, and there in the window was a brochure of the Maldives. So I went in and got a copy of the brochure. And initially I thought, I'll cut a couple of pictures out and stick it by his desk. The next morning when I got into work, I had a better idea. I got a post-it note and I said, your husband is going to take you here for Christmas if he can increase his activity. And I sent it to his wife. She became one of my best sales managers support. It was a tremendous result.
That's a priceless example, actually, Phil. That's very good. Thank you very much. And thanks for those 5 tips. They were really useful. Phil Hook from Train for Results. Thanks for coming on the show and have a great day.
My pleasure. You too. Thank you.